up everybody, this is G The Hypersapien, and in this video we're going to take a look at Warhammer 40,000 Boarding Patrol Orks. But we're going to have a quick look at the box, but mainly we want to look at Boss Snikrot. I've already reviewed the Flash Gits, I reviewed the Beast Snagger boys in the Beast Snagger Army box set. I haven't reviewed the Commandos yet, but I do have the Commandos separately to review. So we're going to have a quick look at the box, but we're going to focus on Boss Snikrot. Let's bust this open and have a look. So here we have the box, we have our bases, we have Boss Snikrot, we have our sprue of Beast Snagger boys, we have one sprue of Flash Gits, we have one sprue of Commandos, we have the big sprue of Commandos, and we have our last sprue of Flash Gits. We have our instruction manual for Beast Snagger boys, for Commandos, for Flash Gits, for Boss Snikrot, and we get two transfer sheets or decal sheets for the Orks, the different Ork clans. Alright, we'll take a look at Boss Snikrot in this video. Explanation of symbols. So the red symbol here is special instruction. Take care. The yellow symbol with the shields is choice of parts, and then the green symbol is stage complete. So step 1 of 6, 1, you get 1, 2 and 3, the pieces, and you glue them together. And so you get the front of the body here, you have the side with one leg, and you have his other side of the torso with the other leg. You glue all these pieces together. Now the yellow piece on the model, that's where you apply your glue. So you can see you want to put all your glue around here and a bit on each side and glue them together. And the blue part of the model is basically your last step. So you can see that all the blue pieces are the previous steps. So piece 4, you stick here to his waist. Now this is a piece that you could leave off separately if you're a bit more of an advanced modeler, or you want to paint in sub-assemblies. This is a part that you could leave off separately and glue on later. So step 2, we jump over here, and it's 5, 6 and 7. So you can see that you put together his backpack here. So it looks like a stick grenade and a knife here, and it looks like a grappling hook. And they obviously glue onto the parts that are indicated in yellow there. And then we jump back over here, and you can see that that glues onto his back there. Again, this is a piece that you could probably leave separately if you want to do sub-assemblies. You can see that it glues on here, and you can glue that on later. But it's up to you if you want to. It's up to you if you want to build the whole model or if you want to build in sub-assemblies. So step 3 here, you can see piece 8 is the top of that bag, the top of that backpack. So that goes on top here, and then you jump down here, you can see in blue that it's been glued in place. Now we jump over to here, and it's 9 and 10. So you basically put in on 10, which looks like it's some of those dog tags, goes onto his wrist here. And this is another, and then the arm goes onto the body. Now this is another part you could leave in sub-assemblies. Normally I'll build the model and see if it interferes and get into any of these pieces here. This arm's kind of out on the body, so it looks like it won't interfere with the brush getting under any of these nooks and crannies here. So step 4 is his other arm, 11 and 12. So 12 is just the dog tags going into his wrist again. Now you want to put that on just so obviously it completes the look of the dog tags. Then we jump over and the arm obviously goes into the body here. So step 5, this is the choice of parts. So you get three different heads it looks like. One doesn't have no goggles, one has the goggles that you build and put on, and another one has the goggles you build and put on, but it basically is on top of his head, and the middle piece, it's covering his whole face. So we jump over here, and 14 is the face that has basically a hole in it, or a slot here that this piece 15 goes into, so that slots onto the face. And then we jump down here, we're using piece 15 again, which is the goggles, but this time piece 16 is going on top of his head. Then we jump down to step 6, we're basically gluing him onto the base here. The base size is 40 millimeters. You have piece 17, which is basically a grenade with some smoke coming off. I'm not sure if I really like that myself personally, I might leave that off. A stealth mask, you know, all these different eyes probably help him see different enemies. You know, he's quite a stealthy, a blood axe, he's quite a intelligent orc, he's more of a mork than a gork type of guy. You know, he's quite cunning but brutal. But it's nice to have different options. But yeah, I'm kind of inclined to go the no helmet because I really like that. But I'm probably just going to stick to, you know, the classic and just have the helmet down. The helmet up's okay. But if I'm going to have the helmet up, I may as well just, you know, use the no helmet. But I'm definitely going to have to find a use for 13, piece 13, which is the no helmet version. I love that face, so I'm going to have to try and work out what orc I can put it on. And then we have stage complete, so that's obviously the whole of Snikrot built. You can see the helmet up, the helmet down, and probably my favourite, the non-helmet. I guess he just kind of reminds me a little bit of the film Gremlins, just... yeah, that's a really cool. I like how big his ears are, you know, compared to some orcs that have sort of small ears. I guess his ears have evolved over time, you know, to help him hear enemies and being a bit more stealthy, being a bit of a morker, not a gorker. He's got these big ears so he can hear. Similar to the old one, you've got the two big blades, you've got the dog tags around him, you've got the backpack with all the bits and the gubbins and the toys and all that stuff in there. Obviously this is new, the smoke grenade coming off here. We've got the belt with all the skulls that he's collected. It's quite a nice model, it's quite well proportioned. You know, the head's quite big, the body is quite bulky. He looks like he's running or about to do some stealthy stuff. Yeah, overall, I really like this model, and that's why I had to grab it as soon as I could on pre-order, grab the model, and that's why I thought I'd do a quick review, a quick unboxing of this model. So here's the instructions. You have it in all different languages. Boss Snikrot. Boss Snikrot, you've got his rules here. Now let's have a look at the sprue for Boss Snikrot. Okay, so we've got our head options here. So you have the one head option. You can see that there's a bit of a hole on top of his head here. So that's where the helmet slots into. Now you basically, if I use the helmet option here and cover his face, I do have two versions of these faces. So you could put a bit of sprue goo or green stuff or some putty on top here and use this head as well. And then you have the head I probably will use, which has the helmet that covers it, that mask. But yeah, I really love that. Face. Let me know in the comments what one you would use. So I really want to use this head. I love the look of this head. Looks really cool. So he's a bit iconic though, and it's a bit of a traditional look to him to have obviously that mask on. I love when they give me options, you know, different options is great, but then I hate it because it's hard to choose because I like normally, you know, a couple of the options. So you can see a mould line coming down his legs here. They're a little bit faint. You'll just need a hobby knife to go over and just smooth that out a little bit, but yeah, nothing too crazy. Normally the new GW models are normally nice to put together, minimal mould lines and stuff like that. But yeah, you can see that he's got his chest exposed. He's got traditional sort of stitched up orc trousers. He's got plates on his boots, on the back and the front, like a steel cap. Here's the smoke here. Like, it doesn't look too bad. I did paint some smoke on the Red Gobbo, the Christmas version, with Bouncer the Squig. He had a dynamite stick that had some smoke coming off it. But yeah, I just think it looks a little bit too cartoony in a way. So we have his arm here with dog tags. The blade has a little bit of a dent in his blade here. Have the helmet here. Looks quite nice actually. That's the head I'll end up using just because it's iconic and it looks like Snikrot. I do kind of like all these goggles on here. All this detail, this awesome detail on his chest. These skulls look really nice. So this looks like an orc skull. It is a little bit small really. Maybe a grot because it looks a little bit small for an orc. They've sort of kept them the same size as the human skulls. But yeah, really nice details. You have his other leg. This one's got a bit more of his butt with that sort of belt coming up on it. You can see a scar going along his hand here. You can even see some details in his fingers here. And he does actually have one finger, it looks like, that slots into that knife. Like a bit of a handle. And then you have the two pieces of dog tags that wrap around these. Not really sure why they just weren't sculpted on here. Must have made it easier to mould, I guess. Looks like there's another gun here that goes onto his waist. You have the grapple hook, you have the bag, tattered, a bit stitched up. You can see a few little sort of rips and stuff in it. You have that grapple hook, the actual rope. But yeah, that's a lovely model. He has another huge blade on his back. Has a bit of the grapple hook and a grenade. Flip it over. There's not much to see this side besides some details here. And obviously his wrists and fingers, you can see quite nicely here, the fingers. An absolute fantastic model, really crisp detail, really nice sculpt. Whoever sculpted this did a fantastic job. All these details, they really pop. But that's the sprue for Boss Snikrot. His boredom patrol's pretty good. I don't really understand how you've got a lot of sneaky stuff though, like Boss Snikrot and Commandos, and then you have some flash gits that are going to be a whole lot more loud. But I guess in boredom patrol, I haven't played it. Those big guns might come in handy just to keep your enemy at bay. And beast snaggers are quite strong and loud, so it's a little bit weird how they're with Commandos. You know, you've got your stealthy, you've got your Morkers, and you've got your Gorkers, it seems. But let me know what you think of the boredom patrol. Now, I had to grab this to get Boss Snikrot. I wanted to get him. It's a little bit annoying to have the new models sort of held hostage in these boxes. You know, they tend to put them in these boxes where you have to buy like a big box to get the new model, but then you have to obviously spend a bit more to get the new model, and then they just throw in a whole bunch of random stuff. It's always good to have extra orc pieces, so if I don't use them, if I don't build them and use them as is, at least I'll have lots of bits to use on different projects. Got affiliate links and merch and all that good stuff. If you want to check the description box below, I'd really appreciate it. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, if you could please like, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video. This was G The Hypersapien, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.